Hi ladies, and welcome to the Earth Angel Felt Along. This is part one and we're going to focus on the head. So for this you're going to use your core wool or wool bats, and I'm just going to show you a really easy technique for creating a head. So you've got your foam, your little bit of lamb's wool, you've got your needles, and you've got the little guide that I put in your pack. And we're going to use this just as a guide really for the size of the head. Okay, so we're going to just tie a knot. Please do this gentler because you don't want to break the wool. Now tie a knot in the middle, and then with your felting needle, remember we're not stabbing hard, we're just poking the wool. I want you to see where I have my fingers, because obviously you're not going to stab them then. So keeping your fingers well away, and we're just going to gently stab the wool, and we're going to turn it. Remember, keep your fingers away just to stab the wool. And the idea of just stabbing this middle is that you're just going to give some firmness. Now, if I was making a rabbit, say, and I needed to add eyes to it and whiskers and really sculpt that head, then I would spend an awful long time on making the head as firm as possible. But we're not going to do that with the Earth Angel. It's why I start off teaching this, because I think it's a really easy one to do. So again, just be aware of how you're holding the needle, and we're just poking that. We're poking it, and we're bringing the fibres together as we do that. So we're just going to keep turning that round. So I want you to keep doing that until you have a little bit of firmness. Okay. So what you're going to do now, I want you to just roll this up. Sorry, I can show you a bit better than that. Yeah. So we're just going to roll that up. Okay, so don't worry, because at the moment you'll think, oh, that looks a bit of a mess, Sally. You know, it will be fine. But in this stage, what I want you to do is just watch for a moment. So I'm just gonna gently poke that wool round. You want a bit of a round shape, and the best way to do that is to just keep turning the wool. Now don't worry if it's lumpy or bumpy, because we'll sort that out later. You can see I'm just turning it. Try and keep the wool tight, you know, but again, don't worry if you let it all fall out. Oh, I'm never going to get there with this. Just bring it back. Hold it as firmly as you can. Remember to watch your fingers. And all you're doing is just allowing that wool to move. You're moving it around, and you're just making a round shape with it. Yeah, just keep going, and as long as you keep an eye on your finger because you don't want to be stabbing them, just keep turning it around. It actually can be really therapeutic, and you can have a little bit of music on in the background, or it might just be, if you've had the kids all day, a bit of peace and quiet is you know, is really lovely. But I like to have a bit of music on in the background. I love Barbra Streisand, so I often have her and sing to my heart's content, and often think my poor husband. Yeah, so we're just carrying on with that. Now sometimes it might actually be a good idea, just pop your needle in there. This wool performs really well, you know, when it's warm. So I like to just roll it around, and I actually think that really helps with creating the shape as well. So there we go. See already? It's looking like a head. Now we don't want a huge head. So if you get your guide, I've done it like this for you. So just cut round that. That's all I've done. It's a bit rough and ready, ladies, but it does the job. You can see there, gosh, I've got a way to go. So again, it's really therapeutic, this. Just keep going. And again, if you've not got much time, if you're saying, well, you know, maybe I've got the little one asleep, we'll probably have half an hour, you can just do 15 minutes. I know what you're going to say. Oh gosh, that's going to get me hoovering done or my ironing done. Or I think one of the things that happen with, you know, with busy mums, especially like when you work and you've got little ones as well, I've been there myself, you never do anything for you. And this is just a really lovely thing to do, to, you know, you just have 15 minutes here and there, half an hour if you're lucky. And those things are still going to be there, aren't they? You know, the sky's not going to fall down because you don't do those things. So you just carry on. And you might be really lucky like me, and maybe you've been through that stage in your life, or maybe that wasn't a stage in your life. Maybe you care for somebody, you know, and that can be really difficult. But maybe you've gone through a rough patch, you've not been feeling too good lately. And I've always found that creativity has just been a really lovely way for me to maybe find myself again. You know, it's very easy to become detached from the world and maybe a bit lonely even. So getting involved in art and crafting and creativity, you get to meet some really lovely people. So there's a few people out there that are a bit competitive as well, but you can choose who you spend your time with. So you can see again, I'm just rolling that. So I'm going to leave you for a few minutes now, ladies, and you just carry on, and I'm going to carry on, and you can keep measuring, you know. Now, the thing is, when you do this measure, because obviously we don't want a tiny little pea head. So what we're aiming for with this measure is that the ball fits on it, but you still want that shape of a head. So looking at my ball now, I haven't got far to go on that. What I do want to do is just firm her up a little bit. So I'm just going to carry on poking that round, and I'm going to probably do a few more rolls, and a bit more poking. Okay. And then we'll be ready for the next stage. So I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, ladies, so what you should have by now is something that resembles a ball-like shape, that when you touch it, it feels a little bit springy. It doesn't feel too hard, not too soft, just a bit springy. Yeah, you can roll it in your hands if you're not completely happy with the shape of it, because remember, this is going to be a face. Ooh, it's got away. And I can see there it fits quite nicely on that circle, and we've got quite a nice shape there. Now, it's not an exact science, this, ladies, but you don't want it too big and you don't want it too small, because then your angel's going to look out of proportion. Now, it's not the end of the world if that happens, because all you'll do, if you do it too small, you'll just do some smaller arms and a smaller dress. So don't worry, not the end of the world. And if a head ends up being really big, then all you need to do is just keep felting it, you know, just keep poking till you get a shape that's near to that. Okay, so that's the head. So that template will come in handy for lots of these, because the angel that I'm showing you in this series is a really easy one, and at the end of this series I'll show you what you can progress on to. So we're still using these shapes. Okay, so the next thing is this beautiful merino wool that sometimes has like little bits in it, but don't worry about that. I just put that to one side. It has been washed and combed. So remember, with merino, it all goes in one direction. Now, sometimes when you buy this and you get it can be a little bit hiddledy-piddledy. Ideally, it's on a really easy roll to pull off. So I think it makes a difference just warming the wool a little bit in your hands. Now, this is going to be a face. Okay, so having that smoothness to start with really helps. And what we're going to do, we're just going to very gently just tear a little piece off that's a bit like a thread. Yeah, just like a thread, and we're just going to put that to one side a minute. Okay, so let's just ease that out. Now when I look at this, I look at that side, and on mine is a little lumpy bumper. There is a little bit of a bump there, yeah, and on that side it looks really kind of smooth. So that's the side that I'm going to have on the outside, because that's going to show. Okay, so you're going to get your ball and you're going to very gently, now if you see this, what I'm doing here, I'm just very gently massaging that wool round, because what I'm trying to do now is cover with what I class as like the bit of the rough underneath that nobody ever sees, with the smooth on the top. Okay, now if you do this and it all starts falling apart and you think, oh, what am I doing here, just take it off. It's very forgiving to an extent. Take it off, just smooth it, yeah, just smooth it and smooth it. We can poke it a little bit to bring it back together, so don't worry. Okay, so we're going to put the ball in there and we're just going to fold it over. That little piece has got in again. Fold it over, and I find that just putting it there in that shape really helps. Yeah, so we're going to just smooth it down, smooth it down very, very gently and around. Now if you do a little twist and smooth it, a little twist, don't worry about the bits at the bottom that are lumping up a bit. Okay, and just twist it very gently, twist it, and then you can just shape it round a little bit. And what we're going to do, going to get that little bit that you had. Now again, this is wool, it's not string, ladies, so let's do it a bit gentle there, just round a couple of times, and then just tie it very, very gently. So we can't be heavy-handed with this. Now if you tie it, you are heavy-handed and it breaks, don't worry about it. Yeah, just wait for this next stage. So I've got them little bits there that I'm not going to worry about. Okay, now you might have, like it I've got here, I call them our tufty bits. So very, very gently, I want you to go like sideways in with the needle. We do that, we don't get as many holes, okay, that are visible. Just do this very gently round. It's what we're doing now, we're just securing those, what I class as like the little tufty bits. Okay, just go around again, watch your fingers. There we go. Okay, now generally what you find, unless you've got a perfect specimen, which I hope you have, again you can just very gently ease that wool. You will find what naturally like looks like it could be the face part for you. So just have a look round. Like I can see already at the back here it's a bit rough and ready, but actually there it's quite nice. So wherever you've decided that's the face bit, again we just gently massaging this wool in. Now don't worry if all here you might have fluffy bits on there, don't worry about that, don't mess with it, because what we're doing later, we're putting hair on. So again, I'm starting with this because it just covers so many like really easy things, won't overwhelm you. Okay, now what is important is if you hold this bit where you've put the tie there, because this eventually is going to be the neck area, I want you to just go around gently, go around it, and then we'll do it with a little bit more force. Again, poking, we're not stabbing. Just go all the way around. And if you've got these little tufty bits, just again in at the side. Okay, and we're just going to go around, and I want you to keep doing that until you feel like that area is a lot more secure. Don't worry about the holes, ladies. You see holes emerging, that's fine. Okay, yeah, now as you're doing that and you're feeling it firmer, you can go on the top, get as near as you can to that string and go around. Okay, and go around. And you're doing that until you feel that that part that you've put on here is in place, you know, it's firm. Now, what you might find is you're doing this, your ball might start to take a different shape, but don't worry, because we can go back and look at that and decide, am I still going to have my face there? I'm going to have it round. And you know, sometimes I do this and I've decided what I'm going to have. And then when I come to put the hair on, I think, oh no, it looks so much better there. Yeah. And what's great with this wool, because you've got the core wool underneath and you've got the merino on the top, it's like it's very moldable still, you know, it's still moldable with your fingers. But what you've got to watch is when you are doing that, you're going to get what I call these rough bits again. So you're going to end up having to put them in. But I just think with needle felting that, you know, they call it a practice, and it is a practice. And I think it's something where if you do it, and, you know, every time you do it, you learn something more and you add another layer to what you know. And before you know it, you know, you're producing really lovely stuff. So never be disheartened. Everything can be made to look really lovely, really beautiful. And you have to stop all that mind chatter that goes flipping it. Mine doesn't look like that. Look at hers, you know. I always think there's like an ugly duckling stage in things that we make. So we have to wait till the end, don't we, and learn not to be so judgy. Okay, so I'm going to leave you now, maybe listening to your music or listening to your thoughts, and just very gently you're going around and you're stabbing down. Oh, I said stab, didn't I? Poke. You're not stabbing. Don't be stabbing. You're just poking very gently. Any tufty bits. Again, have a look. Where am I going to have the face? Where's it? No, I think it's here at the front for me. This is the front. So you can, yeah, mould it a little bit. I'm going to poke a little bit round here. We're going to build that neck up a little bit. So don't worry again too much. We just want some security there. Okay. So you keep doing that. Just keep checking. Again, like a sideways with your needle. You have to do it very gently, ladies, if you're doing any light sideways movement, because you'll just snap the end of your needle off. Okay. That's why I think it's really relaxing. So I'll just leave you now to carry on doing that. And then we're going to be at the next stage already, which is putting your arms on. Okay. So I'll leave you to carry on with that, shaping your face.